BlackRock surveyed 1,000 Americans. They asked just one question. How much money do you need to retire comfortably? The average answer, $2,100,000. Look, and here's the part that really, it should make you angry. 62% of the people who gave that answer have less than $150,000 saved. So they're not planning, they're panicking. And the people feeding that panic, they're selling something. Look, if looking at retirement like this is useful, would you subscribe? It helps push the message to other people just like you. Look, here's the question that nobody is asking. Where did that $2.1 million number come from? Did they do the math? Did they price out their real life? Or did they say what they thought they were supposed to say? Because that's what society told them a real retirement costs. I think most of them don't actually know what retirement even looks like for them. And that's the real problem. It's not the savings gap, it's the vision gap. Look, in the next 12 minutes, I'm going to help you figure out what retirement actually means for your real life, your real money, your real marriage. And I'm going to give you a path forward even if you think you're late, especially if you think you're late. Stay with me. I want to talk to someone specific right now. Maybe that's you. You spent your working years doing what you were supposed to do. You showed up. You supported a family. You got a home. You stayed up with sick kids at 2 a.m. You watched those kids grow up, get married, and build their own lives. And then before you could even catch your breath, one of your parents needed a caregiver. And that was you too. Somewhere in the middle of all that, the career, the kids, the mortgage, the aging parents, retirement planning, it fell off the list. Not because you were irresponsible, because life was full and loud and expensive. And there wasn't the time or the money to focus on something 30 years from now, when right now was already a lot. And now you're looking up and you're thinking, man, I missed the window. It's too late. The math doesn't work. What do I do now? I want to say something directly to you. You did not miss the window. The window looks different than you thought it would, but it is still open. And that is exactly what we are going to build today. But first, I need to show you something, because that $2.1 million number, it didn't appear out of thin air. Larry Fink runs BlackRock. It's the largest asset management firm on the planet. 10 trillion, that's with a T, $10 trillion in assets under management. When he publishes a letter saying Americans need $2.1 million to retire, look, I want you to ask yourself one question. Who benefits from you believing that? It's not you. It has never been you. 51% of Americans now say they fear running out of money in retirement more than they fear dying. Think about that for a minute. They would rather die than go broke. That is not a retirement plan. That's a trauma response. And someone manufactured it. today, we start taking it apart. Here's the real reason so many people feel unprepared for retirement. It's not the savings number. It is that they have never answered the first question. What does retirement mean to you? Not to BlackRock, not to your neighbor, not even to some guy on YouTube, but to you. Now, I want to be real about how hard that question actually is, because for 40 years, someone else told you where to be, when to be there, and what success even looked like. And now you're being asked to invent your own answer. And you know what? That is genuinely difficult. So let me give you a few ways to figure it out. First, look at people you actually admire, not celebrities. People in your real life. Is there a couple in your neighborhood, your church, your family, people in their 60s or 70s who seem genuinely content? Not necessarily rich, content. What does their life look like? What are they doing on a Tuesday? That is data. Study it. Second, if you're married, sit down with your spouse and have a conversation you may have never had, not about money, about life, and ask each other, what do I want more of? What do I want less of? What have I always wanted to try, but never had the time? What does a good week look like with no obligations whatsoever? I'm not exaggerating when I say this conversation has saved marriages and caused a few to struggle, because some couples discover that they want completely different retirements. Better to find out now, before the plan is built around assumptions. Third, test it before you live it. Take a staycation, not a vacation, a staycation. No work email, no work calls. Live on what you think your retirement budget will be. Wake up on Monday morning with nowhere to be. See what you reach for. See what's missing. See what surprises you. I have a friend who did exactly this before she and her husband retired. They downsized their house. She converted one of the bedrooms into a quilting room. He walks down to the river and fishes. They drive to see their grandchildren a few times a year. That is their retirement. No cruise ship, no second home in Florida, a quilt room and a river. And she is one of the most genuinely content people I know. What is your quilt room? What is your river? Those are not small questions. Those are the whole question. Now, I need to say something the financial industry will never say to you, because they cannot profit from it. Money does not fix everything. Ask the man with $2.1 million in the bank who got a cancer diagnosis at 64. Ask the guy who hit every savings target and all of a sudden slowly discovered he had early onset Alzheimer's. Ask the woman whose husband had a heart attack 6 months into their dream retirement. His 2.1 million, it's not going to save him. Her plan is not going the way anyone drew it up. Look, I'm not saying this to scare you. I'm saying this because it reframes everything. Your health is a retirement asset. Your relationships are a retirement asset. Your sense of purpose, what gets you out of bed on a Tuesday with no alarm, That is a retirement asset. And those assets can be built right now, regardless of your account balance. The research is real. Heart attack rates, they increase in the first year after retirement. Senior depression spikes sharply. Divorce rates, they go up. Why? Because for 40 years, work gave you structure, identity, community, a reason, and then on a Tuesday, it's gone. The people who thrive in retirement, they didn't just save money, they saved a life to walk into. Here's a scenario I have heard more times than I can count. And if it hasn't happened to you yet, I hope you'll hear it now so that you can prepare. All right, you retire. The first month is incredible. You sleep in, you travel, you decompress. You feel like you have finally exhaled after 40 years of holding your breath. And then month 2 arrives. Nobody calls. Your coworkers, they're still at the office. Your calendar is empty. Nobody invites you to pickleball because they all have their own circle already formed. It's just you in the midday news and a quieter house than you expected. That is not a failure. That's a gap nobody warned you about, and it is fixable, but only if you start fixing it before you retire. Your social circle is a retirement plan. Start building it now. Find the thing that you want to do. Find the people who do it. Show up before you need to, because the friends you want in retirement, the pickleball partners, the fishing buddies, the people who call on a random Tuesday just to talk, those relationships take years to build. Plant that seed today. So let's talk about the plan, because this channel is not here to make you feel good and send you home. It's here to give you something to do. I want to speak directly to the person right now who is thinking, it's too late for me. I'm 58. I'm 62. I don't have the savings that I should. I've been a caregiver. I lost years. I lost momentum. What is my move? Here is your move. Okay, 3 things. Step 1, define before you optimize. Look, before you touch a single calculator, write down your retirement in 2 sentences. What does a good Tuesday look like? Where are you? Who are you with? What are you doing? That is your target. Now, we can build a plan towards something real, not someone else's $2.1 million fantasy. Step 2, build a bulletproof income stack. A resilient retirement does not require a fortune. It requires 3 income sources. Social Security is one, a 401k or an IRA, a brokerage account that you can draw from, that's 2, and a 3rd source, rental income from a property you might have, a small side project, a part-time thing that you might even almost do it for free, that's 3. Here is the test. If any one of those sources drops, let's call it dramatically, 30%, can you still live? If yes, you're bulletproof. If no, then there's the gap that we're building toward, not a fictitious $2.1 million. That's resilience. Step 3, build the life before you even retire. Work on your health now. Build your friendships now. Figure out what will keep you purposeful now. And here's the one thing that will change everything. When is the last time that you learned something genuinely new? Not for work, not for an obligation, something that made you feel like a complete and utter beginner. Because that curiosity, that willingness to be new at something, that is the muscle that keeps people alive in retirement. The people who exercise it, they thrive. The people who sit down and wait fade away. What do you want your obituary to say? Look, I know that sounds heavy, but you've heard the one, right? The old adage, nobody lying on their deathbed ever wished they had spent more time at the office. What do you wish you had spent more time on? Start there, right now. Whatever the answer is, that is your retirement plan. I want you to picture something. It's a Tuesday morning, 2 years from now. No alarm, no commute, no inbox. You woke up knowing what your day looks like, not because someone scheduled it for you, but because you built it on purpose, in advance. Maybe you're in a quilt room. Maybe you're down at the river. Maybe you're on the phone with your kid, and not because it's a birthday, not because there's an event, just because they wanted to call, just to talk. Your body feels okay, not perfect, but okay, because you've worked on that too. You have enough money, not $2.1 million, enough. Enough for your actual life, the one you defined, the one you chose. That is retirement. It's not a BlackRock benchmark, not someone else's cruise itinerary. It's yours. And the path to get there, even from where you are right now, it's shorter than you think, and it's more possible than Larry Fink wants you to believe.